computer. And welcome back to the studio. We have our favourite American of all time, Andrea, the wizard with the vocal pathology.
Thank you so
That's
much.
an introduction.
That was so lovely. Thank you. Thank you for letting me be here again and talking about my services, but also just what those with Parkinson's can do and think about for the speech and thinking and swallowing areas in Parkinson's. So, thank you.
Indeed. Right. So what shall we be talking about today? What specific subjects?
I wanted to, thank you. I wanted to think about what it might sound like to people that have Parkinson's and a change in their speech, and why they would go to a speech therapist, and what the Parkinson's might sound like to either themselves or to their loved ones, to help make the decision to get some services by a trained speech pathologist.
It's just a pity we don't know any.
Yeah.
Now, I get this distinct feeling I'm going to be a guinea pig any minute.
Oh, no. No,
that's okay. That's okay.
You might get, you might say, oh, that sounds, like something I've experienced, or with people asking you to repeat yourself, or, you've actually shared on here before with our earlier interviews, the fact that, you've noticed other people with Parkinson's that you've interacted with. It's hard for you to understand them. So it's
absolutely.
The really big piece that I want to keep in mind is that typically, I would say more commonly than not, people aren't aware of their own speech changes if they have Parkinson's, and it's because of that feedback loop is not present. They don't know how much to project and be loud enough. So they talk, they use words, they produce, sounds from their mouth. They just don't realize it's not loud enough or clear enough. So I wanted to go through that, what it would look like. And I would say, if you have any questions, reach out to your medical professional, but also possibly record your voice, record yourself talking to someone else with consent, and record that and then play it back and see which one is louder, or do you sound the same loudness between the two of you? Or are there inconsistencies with the person with Parkinson's voice? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, just to get that, because we don't have that feedback loop all the time. Like swinging your arms, you don't always notice you're not swinging your arms when you're walking, when you're first diagnosed or so. What was your situation, Thomas?
With speech?
Yeah.
I just, excuse me, to be fair, I was a bit of a mumbler. Beforehand. And, but I was noticing I was talking a lot quieter because other people were saying, pardon, sorry. And they're trying not to be rude, but it does become frustrating. But until somebody says to you, I can't hear what you're saying, and you need to, if you've got somebody with Parkinson's, you need to take these things on board. You need to accept them and go, okay, I need to do something about it. And that's when we'd come to somebody like you.
Oh, yeah, that's really important, because it's not a denial, but it's just the fact that the brain doesn't take on that information to regulate it for yourself. So you do have to use other people to help regulate it at first. And then you learn, and you can grow with that. Especially with speech therapy and with physical therapy and such. So thank you for sharing that. I would say the biggest thing that people would say is that they have a softer voice. Quieter, not as full, doesn't fill the room, doesn't sound like themselves. Another example that you can do with recording, if you don't have someone else to record with, you can listen to your old voicemail recordings that you've saved, perhaps, or old videos, and then record yourself now. There's usually a difference, especially when I call my clients and leave a voicemail. I noticed a difference. And it's not as peppy, it's not as full, it's not their own voice. So that's typical.
That's the thing. I accept, that I was getting softer, but I also lost some of my range as a singer. So I had to rebuild that up again. By practice, and it doesn't come in one day. It's been a period of, I've been back at choir for nearly a year now. So it has improved my vocal. I done a solo a couple of weeks ago, and I belted out some notes I didn't think I could reach, but I did, and I was so chuffed with myself. We pat in the bag for Thomas.
It takes, yeah, you're right. Like it takes some time because you can kind of consider it being a long duration of weakening or not using those muscles as much. So it's not going to come up out of nowhere. It might a little bit if you get the right initiation, but it won't stay that way.
No.
And so it takes time to build it up, but then it takes a lot of time and focus to keep it strong.
Yeah.
Especially,
practice.
Yeah.
Breathing exercises is really good. I do breathing exercises every single morning.
Oh, yeah.
While I'm waiting for my medication to kick in, I'd be as well doing something. So,
right.
You know, and we do like we'll go take a breath for 4 beats,
Okay.
and then hiss. Well, I'll show you. I'll actually show you. Right, what we do is we take a breath from 1, 2, 3, 4. In between the 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll take a breath. And you push that out as long as you can and count in your head. And what you try to do is beat how long you can do it. And it builds up your airways and allows you to, you know, breathe a bit longer and get more air in.
And to connect and to go a little bit beyond the normal tidal breath that you have just sitting here. We need to engage that diaphragm, and it's hard to feel that diaphragm. So doing an exercise like that is helpful. But you're also just making those neurons fire. And we need to push the limit sometimes. And it's harder with speech, but someone with a singing background, usually can catch on pretty quickly with what it looks like. They have that training. There's a lot of breath work, learning how to use the diaphragm.
Jaw positions as well. We use our MC, musical director will say is, we won't hear you unless you open your mouth. The bigger your mouth is, the louder it will be.
Yes.
So if I'm singing a note, I'm not singing it, you know, what's pursed up, I've got to sing it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's exactly what I do with therapy. Like just the fact that wide, huge mouth comes out. Like, you have to have that big horn from your mouth. Like it has to project out.
Well, Tommy he describes it as you need to be Jaws.
I like it. It's a visual. Whatever works. That's amazing.
So, you know, you can go online and see some of the workshops we do with dynamics and stuff like that as well. And that's good for it as well.
Oh my gosh, just any work that pushes you beyond your normal, I say tidal breath, but any movement that you usually do, you have to work above and beyond that to be able to get those neurons firing and the reaction that your body needs. It can coast and not do any of those movements, but that means all those secondary muscles and all those extra muscles get weak and not activated. And then, you stumble, you don't speak as loud.
It puts pressure on you, your mental health as well, because if you feel excluded from a group because you can't be heard, then that's isolation. I know for myself, my previous experience, that isolation is the worst thing in the earth.
I mean,
you need to be included. It's a football player. Football player will practice his goal kicks.
Yeah.
You know, so people they need to talk, and I've lost that ability. We need to practice.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, just imagine, talking to someone and saying something and having them have this blank face reaction, not knowing what you said, not knowing if they can ask you to repeat yourself, not knowing if it was a joke or not a joke, or are you actually excited, you want to go to that party or you don't. That expressionless, those extra muscles that aren't activated within Parkinson's at rest, it really impacts your social connection. It also impacts your cognition, because if you're not socially connected, then you're not using your brain in that way. And it's a huge passion of mine to help those understand, even if I can't help them directly, just help them understand that it's important to use those extra muscles in a safe way with a trained therapist.
Exactly. And that's what you're there for.
Yeah. And I'm here just to spread the knowledge. I mean, a lot of people know about the physical side of Parkinson's and what to do about it, but speech and thinking and swallowing, those are the huge pieces that are hidden. You can't really see those.
No,
You
you
can
don't.
hear them, but yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. You have a website.
I
If you
do.
wanted more information on the website is.
I do, yeah. And I have some videos, some YouTube videos, but also just some articles, I guess. But it's myvoicetherapy.com. Just gets you started to understand what you could do about any changes you're experiencing with your speech and your thinking.
Excellent. Now, before you go, I'm just going to say we're heading to Barcelona very soon.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to go to this World Parkinson's Congress, and we'll maybe do a live video from there.
Oh, that'd be so perfect.
See what happens.
Yeah.
See if my internet holds up.
I know. Yeah, we might. Yeah, I love it. We'll make it work. We'll figure it out. We'll get
We'll
great.
work it out.
We'll be
Excellent.
outside. We'll be whatever. We'll do it. I think it would be so wonderful. I'm so excited to see everyone and learn.
Me too.
And
Learn
just
some more. Yeah.
with people. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, and that is a wrap. Right, I'll stop recording now.